The rain hammered the rooftop like 1,000 accusations, each drop a reminder of the warmth Miles had just lost forever. His father's boot connected with the doorframe one last time, the wood splintering under the force, as Elias's arms lingered in the air where the hug had been, soft, forgiving, alive with the family's reluctant grace. "You're no son of mine," the old man bellowed into the storm. But it was Elias's silence that cut deepest, a twin's betrayal wrapped in the safety of acceptance. Miles stumbled down the porch steps of the old craftsman house in Astoria, Oregon, the coastal fog swallowing him whole as if the Pacific itself conspired to erase him. At 24, he and Elias had shared everything. The cramped bedroom with posters of indie bands peeling at the edges, the secret glances at boys in high school hallways, the whispered plans to escape this fishing town where the Columbia River met the sea in a perpetual gray churn. They were mirror images. Same lean build, same crooked smile that charmed teachers and dodged bullies alike. But tonight, the mirror had cracked. They had come out together, hands clasped under the scarred oak table during Sunday dinner, the words tumbling out like a shared confession. "Dad, Mom, we're gay. Both of us." Elias had gone first, voice steady as the tide, earning a hesitant nod from their mother and that damn hug from their father, rough hands clapping his back like he'd just won a football game. Miles, following with a tremor in his throat, had only earned the boot, literal and figurative. His backpack slung over one shoulder, stuffed with a change of clothes and the dog-eared copy of Giovanni's Room that Elias had lent him years ago. The streets of Astoria blurred into a watercolor of regret as Miles walked, the neon sign of the local dive bar flickering like a faulty heartbeat. He could still taste the pot roast on his tongue, the family's forced normalcy shattered by his father's chair scraping back, the vein bulging in his neck as he spat. "One of you I can stomach, the other, pack your shit." Elias had tried, God, he tried. Reaching across the table, eyes wide with that twin plea they used to share during childhood scuffles. "Dad, he's your son too. We're the same." But the old man, Harlan Whitaker, captain of the Columbia Queen trawler, with salt-crusted hands and a worldview forged in the depression tales of his own father, had drawn the line. Elias, the golden boy who fixed engines and dreamed of community college, got the grace. Miles, the dreamer with sketchbooks full of charcoal portraits and a part-time gig at the bookstore, got the exile. By the time Miles reached the pier, the wind whipping salt spray into his face, his phone buzzed in his pocket. A text from Elias. "I'm sorry. Come back. I'll talk to him." But Miles's thumbs hovered, frozen. Sorry didn't mend fractures. He typed back, "You got the hug. I got the door. We're not the same anymore." Then he powered it off, the screen's glow dying like his resolve. The river below churned black and endless, fishing boats bobbing like forgotten toys. Astoria had always felt small, a postcard town of Victorian houses climbing steep hills, where tourists snapped photos of the Goonies' house while locals nursed grudges over coffee at Bowie Beer Company. For Miles, it had been a cage disguised as home, the kind where love came with conditions and queerness was whispered about like a family curse. He slumped against a piling, the wood rough against his back, and pulled out a crumpled pack of cigarettes. Elias's habit, not his but borrowed in moments like this. The first drag burned, a poor substitute for the ache in his chest. Memories flooded unbidden. Summer nights sneaking onto the beach at Young's River Falls, the twins stripping down to swim in the moonlight, bodies brushing in the current. Innocent then, charged now in retrospect. Elias laughing as they raced to the falls, water cascading like silver veils. "We're unbreakable, Miles. Twins forever." But unbreakable things shattered loudest. Hours passed, or maybe minutes, the rain made time elastic. A pickup truck rumbled by on the road above, headlights cutting the dark, but no one stopped. Miles's mind raced to Seattle, a 3-hour drive north, where the city pulsed with anonymity and possibility. He'd saved $300 from shelving romance novels at River's Edge Books, enough for a Greyhound ticket and a hostel bed. But leaving meant severing the last thread to Elias, to the mother who had dabbed her eyes but said nothing, to the father whose disappointment was a lifetime sentence. As dawn crept in, painting the sky bruise purple, Miles stood. His hoodie clung heavy, soaked through, but resolve hardened in his veins. He hitchhiked to Portland first, thumb out on Highway 30, the driver an old logger named Chet who grumbled about kids these days, but bought him coffee at a diner in Clatskanie. Family's family, Chet said, slurping black brew. Don't matter what they say. Blood's thicker. Miles nodded, but inside, blood felt like ink, staining everything it touched. Portland welcomed him with drizzle and hipster bustle. The Greyhound station a hive of transients and dreamers. He boarded the bus to Seattle, seat 14B by the window, watching the evergreens blur into a green haze. Sleep came fitful, dreams of Elias's hand in his, pulling him back from the edge. When he woke, the Space Needle pierced the clouds like a promise. Seattle hit him like a fever dream. Pike Place Market's fishmongers tossing salmon in arcs of silver, the ferries slicing Puget Sound, the air thick with coffee and ambition. Miles checked into a hostel in Capitol Hill, the neighborhood's rainbow flags fluttering like defiant banners. His room was a bunk in a 6-bed dorm. Roommates a mix of Euro backpackers and tech bros nursing hangovers. That first night, he wandered the streets, neon from queer bars casting kaleidoscopes on wet pavement. The Cuff complex thumped with bass, bodies grinding under strobe lights, but Miles hung back, nursing a cheap beer at the bar. That's when he saw him, Jackson, leaning against the jukebox, all easy confidence and tattooed forearms. Mid-20s like Miles, with olive skin, close-cropped black hair, and eyes like polished obsidian that scanned the room with quiet hunger. Jackson wore a leather jacket over a band tee Nirvana, fitting for Seattle, and jeans that hugged his hips just right. He caught Miles staring, smirked, and sauntered over. First time in the Hill? His voice was low, laced with a faint Texas drawl, warm as bourbon. Miles swallowed, heart kicking. Yeah, kinda running from something. Jackson slid onto the stool beside him, ordering 2 whiskeys neat. Aren't we all? Name's Jackson. You, Miles. The name felt foreign on his tongue, untethered. They talked until closing. Jackson a barista by day, aspiring musician by night, original from Austin but chasing gigs in the rain-soaked city. He spoke of his own coming out at 17, a shotgun wedding of acceptance after his mom's tears dried. Family's messy, he said, clinking glasses. But you build your own. By 2 a.m., they were stumbling back to Jackson's apartment in a walk-up off Broadway, the city lights twinkling like conspirators. The kiss happened on the fire escape, urgent and tasting of whiskey and want, Jackson's hands framing Miles's face as if he were something precious. Inside, clothes shed like old skins, bodies mapping uncharted territories in the dim glow of string lights. It was messy, fervent, a collision of grief and grace. Miles arched under Jackson's touch, whispering Elias's name once by accident, but Jackson only pulled him closer, murmuring, "You're here now." Morning brought pancakes and awkward tenderness, Jackson flipping them in a cast-iron skillet while Miles sketched him from the counterstool. Quick lines capturing the curve of his neck, the scar above his lip from a skateboarding wipeout. "Artist, huh?" Jackson grinned, sliding a plate over. "Stick around. City's got room for strays." Miles did stick, crashing on Jackson's couch for a week, then sharing the bed when the lines blurred further. He landed a gig at Elliott Bay Book Company, recommending Queer Lit to wide-eyed customers, the irony not lost on him. Evenings were gigs at local dives, Jackson strumming his guitar to half-empty rooms, Miles in the front row, clapping loudest. Texts from Elias piled up. "Miss you. Dad's cooling off. Come home. But Miles archived them, building walls brick by digital brick. Fall deepened, leaves turning Seattle's parks to fire, and so did their rhythm. Jackson introduced him to his crew. Lena, a tattoo artist with sleeve art of mythical beasts. Theo, a non-binary barista who slung shade like espresso shots. And Riley, Jackson's ex, a lanky photographer whose eyes lingered too long on Miles. Riley's presence was a splinter, charming, flirtatious, always with a camera capturing candid moments that made Miles feel exposed. "You're photogenic," Riley said one night at a bonfire in Discovery Park. Lens trained on him. "Like you carry stories in your bones." Jackson laughed it off, pulling Miles into his side. "Back off, Ree. He's mine." But the word mine hung heavy, possessive in a way that echoed Harlan's grip on tradition. Thanksgiving loomed, a holiday Miles had always tied to the Whitaker table. Turkey brined in river water, stories of Harlan's sea voyages. This year, Jackson hosted a potluck in his cramped kitchen, mismatched chairs around a fold-out table. Lena brought deviled eggs spiked with sriracha. Theo, vegan stuffing that somehow tasted like home. Riley arrived last, bearing pie and a bottle of mezcal, his hug for Miles lingering a beat too long. As plates cleared, stories flowed. Jackson's tale of his first heartbreak, a boy in high school who ghosted after prom. Lena's ink sessions with closeted clients, needles piercing silence. Miles's turn came reluctant, the room's eyes on him like spotlights. He spoke of Astoria, the twins' bond, the dinner that shattered it. Elias got the hug. I got the door, like I was the flaw in the mirror. The room hushed, then Theo reached across, squeezing his hand. Mirrors lie, Miles. You're the whole damn reflection. Jackson pulled him aside later, in the bedroom strewn with guitar picks and sheet music. Proud of you, he murmured, lips brushing Miles's temple. For sharing, for staying. But staying meant roots, and roots scared Miles, too much like the ones that had choked him back home. That night, as Jackson slept, Miles scrolled old photos. Him and Elias at 15, arms slung around each other at the county fair, cotton candy staining their grins. A new message from Elias. Found your sketchbook in the attic. Drew me as a superhero. Come get it, please. Miles's thumb hovered, heart twisting. Superhero. That's what they'd been to each other. He deleted the thread, but sleep evaded. The cities hum a lullaby of what-ifs. Winter gripped Seattle in icy fingers. Pike Place's stalls steaming with clam chowder. Holiday lights threading the evergreens like veins of light. Miles and Jackson's world shrank to cozy routines. Mornings tangled in flannel sheets. Afternoons at the bookstore where Miles devoured Call Me by Your Name. Evenings at open mics where Jackson's voice cracked on ballads about lost loves. This one's for the ones who got away, Jackson would say, eyes locking on Miles, and the crowd would whoop, oblivious to the ache beneath. But cracks formed, subtle as frost. Riley's text started innocuous. Saw a print that'd look killer on your wall. Then edged flirtatious. A photo of his latest exhibit with a caption. Thinking of your eyes in the darkroom. Miles showed Jackson once, who laughed it off with a kiss. He's harmless. Exes are like bad tattoos. Fuzzy memories. Yet Miles caught the tension in Jackson's jaw during their next hangout. A gallery crawl in Fremont where Riley's photos hung. Intimate black and whites of nude forms. Shadows playing over skin like secrets. One caught Miles. A twin silhouette, merged yet divided, light splitting them at the seam. Inspired by you? Miles asked, pulse quickening. Riley's smile was sly. Twins? Nah, just echoes. Everyone's got a double inside. Jackson steered him away, but the seed lodged. Miles dreamed of Elias that night, the hug replaying in infinite loop. Father's arms enveloping his brother, while Miles watched from the void. He woke sweating, Jackson's arm heavy across his waist. Bad one, Jackson mumbled. Yeah, family stuff. Jackson propped on an elbow, hair tousled. Talk to me. So Miles did, words spilling like rain off eaves. The pier in Astoria, the bus ride north, the fear that loving Jackson was just rebound from loss. What if I'm not whole? What if the kicked out part is all that's left? Jackson traced his collarbone, gentle. You're whole to me, scars and all. Christmas Eve, they strung lights on Jackson's fire escape, the city below a carpet of twinkles. Theo hosted an ugly sweater party, eggnog flowing like confessions. Miles wore a reindeer number Lena had knit, antlers flopping comically. Laughter came easy, but midway through a tipsy game of Never Have I Ever, Riley dropped the bomb. Never have I ever betrayed my own blood for a hug. The room stilled. Miles's cup froze midair. What? Riley shrugged, eyes gleaming. Heard you talking. Twins coming out, poetic. But one gets grace, the other the boot? Sounds like a choice. Jackson stood, voice low thunder. Not your story, Ree. Drop it. But damage bloomed. Miles fled to the balcony, cold air biting. Jackson followed, wrapping him in a blanket. He's jealous. Ignore him. Easy for you to say. Miles's voice cracked. You didn't watch your mirror image choose safety over solidarity. Jackson cupped his face. Elias didn't choose. Fear did. But you're choosing now, us, this life. They made love that night slow and deliberate, reclaiming space in each other's skin. But dawn brought a call from an unknown number. Elias, voice raw over the line. Miles? It's me. Dad's sick. Heart thing. Come home. Please. The world tilted. Miles booked a ticket south, Jackson driving him to the station at dawn, kiss lingering like a talisman. I'll be here, Jackson said. Go heal what you can. Astoria greeted him with familiar chill, the Whitaker house sagging under December gray. Mom met him at the door, eyes red-rimmed, hug fierce but wordless. Elias hovered in the hall, thinner, shadows under his eyes. You came. For Dad. Not you. The words tasted bitter, but true. Harlan lay in the hospital bed at Columbia Memorial, monitors beeping like accusations. Tubes snaked from his arms. The man who once hauled nets now frail as driftwood. He woke as Miles entered, gaze sharpening. Boy. Dad. Silence stretched, thick as fog. Heard you been making a life up north. Yeah. Harlan's hand twitched, not quite reaching. Elias told me. About. You. Both of ya. Miles braced. And. Thought it'd break me. But seeing him every day, worryin'. It's the real breakin'. Cough rattled. Shouldn't have kicked you. Was scared. Of losing both. The hug, when it came, was weak, papery, but real. Arms folding Miles in. The scent of antiseptic mingling with old aftershave. Elias watched from the corner, tears tracking silent. Later, in the cafeteria over vending machine coffee, the twins faced off. Why'd you stay? Miles asked, voice low. After what he did to me? Elias's shoulders slumped. Hoped I could change him. From inside. But it cost you. Cost us. Miles's fist clenched. You got the hug. I got the road. Felt like betrayal. Elias nodded, slow. It was. I'm sorry doesn't fix it. But. I see that now. You're braver. Always were. Harlan rallied enough for Christmas dinner at home. A subdued affair. Ham sliced thin, Mom's pie lopsided. No speeches, just quiet toasts with river water in wine glasses. Miles sketched the scene. Father at table's head, Elias carving, the light slanting golden through salt-streaked windows. When he left 2 days later, Harlan gripped his hand. Proud son. Of both. Seattle pulled him back like gravity, Jackson waiting at the arrivals with a sign. Stray returns. They collided in the terminal, kiss fierce amid travelers. But Riley's shadow lingered, a text on Miles's phone. Missed you at the exhibit. Got something for you. Attached, a photo. The twin silhouette, now split by light, one half fading to white. Jackson saw it over breakfast, fork pausing. What's this? Nothing. But Miles's voice wavered. Jackson's eyes darkened. Riley. He sent it. Old stuff. Jackson pushed back, chair scraping. Old? Or new games? The fight erupted quiet but vicious. Words like knives in the kitchen's fluorescent glare. You think I'm playing? Miles shot back. After everything? I think you're still running. From them, from this. Jackson gestured between them. And Riley's always there, waiting for the crack. Miles stormed out, wandering Capitol Hill's frozen streets, ending at the cuff, where Riley nursed a gin at the bar. Trouble in paradise? Riley slid a stool out. Miles sat, defeated. Just complicated. Riley's hand brushed his. Complicated's my specialty. The kiss happened on impulse. Riley's lips tasting of gin and regret. Miles pulling back after seconds that stretched eternal. Shit, I can't. But Riley's camera flash went off, candid, damning. For the memory, he said, but his eyes said leverage. Miles fled to Jackson's, pounding the door until it opened. I kissed him. Stupid, drunk mistake. But you're it. You're home. Jackson's face crumpled, then hardened. Home? Or just the hug you didn't get? He stepped back. Get out, Miles, before I say something permanent. The door shut, echo of Astoria's porch. Miles crumpled on the stoop, snowflakes melting on his lashes. Betrayal's blade cut both ways, his to Jackson, Riley's photo now a ticking bomb on his phone. Spring thawed Seattle slow, cherry blossoms reluctant against the gray. Miles sublet a studio in Belltown, walls bare but for his sketches. Elias as sentinel, Harlan's frail hand, Jackson's profile in shadow. Work at the bookstore blurred days, customers' faces melting into one. He texted Jackson once. Sorry doesn't fix. But I miss you. No reply. Riley cornered him at a coffee shop, print in hand. The kiss, frozen in betrayal's frame. Thought you'd want it. Art of the heart. Miles snatched it, tearing. This isn't art. It's poison. Riley's laugh was hollow. We all poison our own wells, Miles. Even twins. Elias called weekly, updates on Harlan's recovery, Astoria's rhythms. Come visit. Doors open. Not yet. Miles's voice steadied. Healing's a solo hike sometimes. One rainy April night, crisis crested. A letter arrived, Harlan scrawl, shaky. Saw your drawings Mom sent. Captures us true. Wish I'd seen you sooner. Love, Dad. Enclosed, a check for $1,000 scribbled for your art. Or whatever dreams. Miles wept then, raw and cleansing, the dam of resentment cracking. He walked to Jackson's block, uninvited, rain sheeting down. The window glowed warm, Jackson silhouetted with guitar. Miles knocked, breath held. Door opened, Jackson rumpled, wary. Miles. Can't run anymore. From you, from me. Words poured. The kiss's stupidity, Riley's block, the letter's grace. I choose us, if you'll have the kicked-out twin. Jackson searched his face, then pulled him in, kiss salt-sweet with tears. Always, but slow. Rebuild. They did picnics in Green Lake under summer sun, Jackson's gigs with Miles on harmonies, therapy sessions where Miles unpacked the mirror's shards. Elias visited once. Awkward bridge over beers at Pike Place. Brought your sketchbook, he said, handing it over. Inside, new pages. Miles alone, whole, eyes fierce with light. Riley faded, his exhibit closing with a whisper. Harlan sent postcards. River sunsets, trawler hauls, each a stitch in the mend. Mom called, voice soft. We're learning, baby. All of us. By fall's turn, leaves gold again. Miles and Jackson stood on the fire escape, city sprawling benevolent. Twins got different paths, Miles murmured, Jackson's hand in his. But mine led here. Jackson kissed his knuckles. And stayed. In the end, hugs came late, but they came, fiercer for the wait. Reminders that family wasn't blood's monopoly, but choice's quiet revolution. Miles sketched them all. Twins divergent yet linked. A father mending nets of regret. A lover's arms steady as shore. Wholeness wasn't perfection, but presence. Raw, rain-washed, real.